This is Mia and Vani channel. Say hi, Vani. Making onions. Making steak and macaroni, baked macaroni and cheese. He's dicing the onions. He got his beef broth. And then I got my stuff for my mac and cheese. Got the milk, the cheese, the eggs, and the shells, the milk. And then he gonna put the potatoes inside the steak. Yeah. Okay. We got our steaks inside of the beef broth. Now he's gonna start seasoning. Why are you hurting the salt? What would it ever do to you? You hurting the salt. What would it ever do to you?
Thought that'd be funny.
He real extra with his seasonings, as you can see. Say hi, baby. What? Say hi.
No, they clean you.
Say hi. Kevin. They're being mean to me. They're not paying me attention at all.
Okay.
Wow, they're really not paying me attention. They're not used to being on camera. Maybe this one will say hi. How I can't record it. You gotta see the other baby after I sit him down. I hate that I can't face the camera towards me. Oh, I could always just walk this way and show myself. Baby. Hi. I did not mean to put this flash on either. Oh no, I can't put your phone on the oven, right? Yeah. I'll put it like right here.
I don't know what that's gonna catch. My bad.
That's what I'm. When you're seasoning, put all different types of seasoning on it. Baby. Say hi. Say hi.
You probably should get him out the kitchen.
Okay. Oh, the seasoning?
Yeah, it's gonna mess with him.
Okay, bye. Please recording. I'll talk to you.
I'm supposed to talk?
What?
I'm supposed to talk. When I cook, I get in the zone.
You need what?
I say when I cook, I get in the zone. I ain't know supposed to talk.
You just say what seasons or however you want.
It's a lot of work.
The process of seasoning or just...
The process of seasoning. You just season. What's up, y'all? To me, his grandma had the idea to come over here and spend some time together, you know, cook, all that stuff. So I'm like, that'd be nice. So what we over here doing is we cooking some steak, some potatoes, you know, got some snacks and everything. She gonna make some baked mac and cheese, homemade, all that good stuff. So I'm preparing the steak right now, and I'm gonna garnish it with some red potatoes. I don't use a recipe. Everything I do is a creation, a freestyle. I think it's funner that way, you know. What's the point of a recipe if you know what you're cooking? When you can freestyle it and get something new every time, you know. That's how I feel. So right now we like heat, so I'm making 2 of the steaks hot because one of them is for a grandmother. What are you doing? Get away from my seasoning. What are you doing? Get out of here. Go eat. Go be a baby. Have fun. Anyway, I already put, this is everything I use. I put onion powder, put sazon, put basil, salt, paprika, cayenne pepper. This right here, cilantro and anchovy, something like that. Right now I'm adding the minced garlic. Well, minced onion, minced garlic not coming yet. Oh. Seasoning makes you sneeze. Time to add the rest. What's up? Garbage. The pepper. The one thing that you do when you cook, for one, everything needs to be in layers. You don't just start dabbing everything on like you seasoning your food that's already on a plate. Everything you do, you have to layer it, sprinkle it. One seasoning on top of another seasoning. That's how you get everything complete and flavorful. Also, me, I use beef broth. Other people use water. Other people use chicken broth. It don't matter what you use. It's all going to taste like the meat that you're preparing. So first things first, you put the steak on, you get one side wet, and then you flip it, you get the other side wet. So all the seasoning clings to it. Then you season it long like this. That way some seasoning falls into the broth that you're using, and the broth starts to get flavor too. Now, this is objective, but the more seasoning you use, the better. When I say objective, I mean, obviously, you can't use something like allspice because that's sweet. You can't use something like cinnamon because that don't go with red meat. You need something like when I say all seasonings, the more seasonings, the better. I mean, you know, the select seasonings that you know that you can use on that meat. I use basil and I'm also using oregano. I could have used parsley instead. I feel like that would have actually worked better than the oregano, but you know, you could use all three too. Each one has a different flavor. But oregano works better with grains, which is why I say that I could have used parsley instead. But basil will work with red meat. After that, I'm using this right here. This is basically Spanish for complete spice. It just means it has a lot of stuff in it. You know, if you want to know what it has, all you gotta do is read the nutrition facts, and it'll tell you everything that's inside of it. So I use pretty much everything that I wanted to use. I got everything here. And now this looks like this. Now you take your finger, your clean finger, that I hope, and you just rub just a little bit. Just rub a little bit. You're getting some season. You're getting the steak wet in some places. You're getting the seasoning wet. That way, when you do this and you lift it up, not everything falls. You want some to fall, but not all of it, because when some falls, like I said, you're flavoring the broth. When all of it falls, you know, your steak ain't getting that texture that you want. Also, I'm using T-bone. When you cook with T-bone or anything that has beef in it, or a bone in the period, you pick it up by the bone. Because the meat is just been sitting inside room temperature, whatever, which means that it's going to be soft. It's going to break apart, as you've seen with that one, because the bone was so small that you couldn't really get a grip of it. So bang, everything's spaced out again. Everything's in its proper spot. They're not touching. So now, put this down real quick. Yep.
Okay. The oven is on, right?
Yeah, it's preheating.
Okay. Hear me, I cleaned you up a chair. I cleaned you a chair up. You're welcome. Hi. Mommy won't let you come outside with me. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Okay. We'll put that right there. Okay. Come on.
How does y'all get the remotes? Anyway, you re-season it. It don't matter how you re-season it. But I do mine haphazardly. I don't go in the same order that I did with the first one because it's a different bite every time. Basil and stuff and your herbs, you usually want to say that till last, and you want to sprinkle it inside the broth. That's done with. Paprika almost gone too. Damn. Nope, it's over. It's over. Re-saison. Sometimes this happens because of the packet. Simple, you just pick it up, you sprinkle it somewhere else. Or you just take this, bang, rub it in, or rub it off. And then it ends up inside the juice. Another reason why seasoning is important because the more you use, the more thick the crust gets. Which means that if you leave it in long enough, this thin juice turns into a sauce that you can garnish and put on other stuff. So instead of having something, since I have kids, you know, juice sometimes spills. So if I turn it into a sauce, it's thick enough for them not to be able to spill it. Like, you know, for example, like when you used to cook noodles and you left them on the stove top too long, and then, you know, no more juice. It had that creamy texture, that thickness. That's exactly how the steak sauce get when you leave it on too long. Now, I'm gonna garnish with some basil on the steak and inside. And some oregano. Now we come back to this part. Take some of your diced onions, sprinkle them. And all the cracks and crevices. For one, because the onions get translucent, they get soft, you know, they're pretty sweet and mild, so they'll absorb that, and they'll get savory, plus they get translucent, but not soft. So there's still a slight crunch to it. Plus the onions have a flavor of their own, you know, onions, they cry, they leave juice behind. That juice will also get melted off and get put inside the broth. You know, everything's about flavor. When you cook, there's a saying, everything should be good enough to stand on its own. If you wouldn't eat it by itself, then it's not good enough. That goes for if you're making potatoes, rice, meat, fish, anything that you're making. If you need a condiment to eat it, if you need salt to eat it, if you need ketchup or something to eat it, then, you know, it's not good enough because you need to make it better yourself. So that's what I go for. Even the onions themselves are delicious. You can eat them by themselves just by chopping them up and just adding a pinch of salt. The onions are good enough to stand alone just like that. Now we got this right here. What I'm going to do with this is I was doing a whole bunch when y'all was gone. This is what I did with the rings. You know, this is to put on the actual steak or the little bits, is whatever your preference is. You can always take the rings off or, you know, pick the onions out. But everybody here likes onions and everything. That's the water that's gonna be used to boil the macaroni noodles. And then this is the fourth steak because it was too big. I'm feeding me, my wife, my 2 kids, and her grandmother. So everybody has their. Everything's about to go in now, and then I can start preparing the garnish. Yes, Kevin. That's nice. But yeah. And the next thing I'm about to start getting on to is the potatoes, which is gonna be a garnish. I'm gonna steam them, and then I'm gonna cut them up and put them on top of the steak. And the steak juice and all the seasoning will be absorbed into it, so I don't have to season it or do anything beforehand. They just go right into the steamer. So I'll come back when that's done.